the backwards long jump, or the BLJ for short. Unless you've been living under a rock, this is likely one of the first things that pops in your mind when you think of Super Mario 64. The BLJ is by far the most infamous glitch in the game, and has allowed players to push the game beyond its intended limits. From simply skipping the endless staircase at the tippy top of Peach's castle, to clipping out of bounds into parallel universes far outside the confines of the map, the BLJ has provided Mario 64 enthusiasts with seemingly endless ways to break the game. A lot of these enthusiasts are part of the now thriving speedrun community, where speedrunners use the BLJ to try to beat the game as fast as possible. And over the years, these speedrunners have continued to apply their knowledge of the BLJ and use it in new ways to this very day. So in today's video, I will briefly go over the history of the BLJ, from its initial discovery to the present day. And I will also go over the numerous developments in between, both the commonly known scenarios and the far more obscure ones. But before we begin, I noticed only a very small percentage of my audience is actually subscribed, so if you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe. It's free and you could unsub at any time. So, without further ado, let's go back a couple decades in time. The year is 2000. Super Mario 64 had been out for 4 years, and everyone assumed that you needed 70 stars to reach the end of the game. Within the game, there are several locked doors that block access to new areas of the castle, which require a certain number of stars or a key in order to unlock them. The star doors will not open until the required number of stars have been collected, with one exception. At the very end of the game, the 70 star door will open no matter how many stars you have. However, the game still prevents you from reaching the end of the game via the endless stairs. At a certain point on the stairs, the game will teleport Mario back down the stairs, blocking access to the final Bowser level until 70 stars are collected. Therefore, no one had any reason to doubt that the minimum requirement to beat the game was any lower. That is, until the BLJ was first discovered. In the November 2000 issue of Club Nintendo, the official Nintendo magazine in Latin America, two Mexican brothers, Jose Angel and Dante Ivan Ruiz Villarreal, would be the first people to document the BLJ. On screen right now is the translation of the page in English. You may pause the video to read it, but to paraphrase, you would head to the endless staircase from the 3rd floor immediately after unlocking the 50-star door. From here, the player would walk up the stairs, position the camera so it faces up the stairs, long jump towards the camera, and then hold back while spamming the long jump input. If done correctly, Mario will have built up enough speed to completely skip the teleport trigger and make it to the top of the stairs without 70 stars. The reason the BLJ works here is because Mario can build up negative speed by continuously long jumping up the stairs, in tandem with a lack of a negative horizontal speed cap, an oversight in the game's code. Unfortunately, the article was never widespread around this time, in due part to the language barrier and internet access being much more scarce around this time, leaving this knowledge lost to the sands of time. It wouldn't be until 3 years later until the BLJ was rediscovered, and this time, it wouldn't fade away into obscurity. On March 16th, 2003, GameFAQs user Gara2000 would post on the Mario 64 forum stating their friends showed him how to beat the game without needing 70 stars, using the BLJ. No one on the thread initially believed Gara, as they were unable to replicate the glitch until a couple days later, when Gara would post the first documented video proof of the BLJ. Gara also referenced the Club Nintendo article where they had learned the trick. Afterwards, people began to successfully perform the BLJ, and from here, Mario 64 was about to be blown wide open. In just a little under 2 weeks, people began implementing the same BLJ technique on the staircase before the 50-star door in order to completely skip it, bringing the minimum star requirement down to 31. On May 10th, 2004, GameFAQs user Dom Dunk found a way to skip the 30-star door in the basement, using Mips the Rabbit to clip through it. The rabbit spawned after 15 stars were collected, bringing down the minimum star requirement to 16. These discoveries would lead to Super Mario 64 speedrunning becoming increasingly popular, and brought in a lot of new people to websites such as Speed Demos Archive and TAS videos. The latter is where people would learn to harness the true power of the BLJ. On TAS videos, people would discuss potential new strategies and time saves in the forums, and apply their knowledge to create tool-assisted speedruns. Runs that were created on emulators, frame by frame, with the goal of producing theoretical perfect runs, which may use strategies physically impossible for a human to pull off. Here, the forum members would develop a greater understanding of the BLJ and where it could be pulled off. They discovered that the BLJ can be performed up steep slopes, stairs, rising elevators, and low ceilings that were commonly mistaken as invisible walls. Using this logic, Tassers and glitch hunters continue to search for new major skips using the BLJ, and on October 14th, 2006, a breakthrough would be made. In a YouTube video, glitch hunter Mr. Robert Z would document 3 new glitches found in the castle lobby, the most notable one being a potential way to skip the 8-star door leading to the first Bowser level, allowing for earlier access to the castle basement. This would be accomplished by grabbing a ledge underneath the lobby stairs in order to clip inside a pillar. Inside this pillar is a low ceiling where a BLJ could be performed. When enough speed is built up, Mario can then be navigated up the stairs and through the door using precise movement thought to be tasks only at the time. Regardless, people were ecstatic that the basement could be reached with 0 stars, and this is when discussion about beating the game with only 1 star, or no stars at all, began. With early access to the basement, there stood only one more roadblock to accomplishing this task: skipping the 30-star door without MIPS. Alas, many people did not believe a BLJ could be used to skip the door, as the 4 members believed that all possible BLJ locations in the basement had been found, and that all of them were useless. One Tasser in particular, aka, was a bit skeptical of these claims, and continued to investigate, and in the process, not only had aka discovered a new BLJ location, but also a brand new type of BLJ, one that would allow for the 30-star door skip without MIPS, the side BLJ, or an SBLJ for short. The SBLJ was performed on a small set of stairs near the 30-star door, but was performed by BLJing sideways against the banister and in a precise position in between the 2 steps. Because Mario snaps back vertically between the 2 steps, it allows for enough negative speed to be built up in order to skip the door. The SBLJ, along with the lobby BLJ, would be featured in the first 1-star task, which was submitted to task videos on October 10th, 2007, authored by aka and another Tasser, Swordless Link. This was huge, as not only was the game possibly beaten with only a single star, but a new BLJ type had also been discovered in the process. Unfortunately, the game was still not possible to be beaten with no stars just yet, as no one could find out a way to skip Dire Dire Docks until December 7th, when out of nowhere, aka and Swordless Link absolutely shocked everyone by publishing a 0-star task. How? How did aka and Swordless Link manage to skip from 1 star to 0 stars in just under 4 months? Well, by this point, both Tassers had a better understanding of how the SBLJ worked and how it could be applied elsewhere. The SBLJ was used in the lobby and after the first Bowser stage in order to navigate the castle better, and a more precise SBLJ was used to skip both the 30-star door and Dire Dire Docks. This task would then go viral on YouTube, bringing even more attention to Mario 64 speedruns, tasks, and the BLJ. I personally remember around this time discovering Riku's viral 16-star task from 2006 alongside the 0-star task, and exposed me, alongside millions of other people, to the beauty that was the BLJ. Many of us tried it for ourselves, and we too could skip the endless stairs and the 50-star door before it, although none of us could nail that pesky lobby BLJ or the SBLJ. Those 2 tricks seemed physically impossible, and it seemed like an actual human could never, ever complete a 0 or 1-star run. This would change, however, in 2010, when Japanese speedrunners began to optimize and dominate Super Mario 64. And not only did they dominate the 120, 70, and 16-star speedruns, but they were also able to complete 1-star and 0-star runs on the official console, having learned how to perform the lobby BLJ and the SBLJ. They also began to use the lobby BLJ in the 16-star run, which still remained a popular category due to how hard it is to even complete a 0 or a 1-star run. Regardless, the Japanese helped progress Super Mario 64 speedruns at an unbelievable rate, especially the shorter categories, and their dominance over 0, 1, and 16-star is also a major reason why Mario 64s, to this day, prefer to run on the original N64 version as opposed to the seemingly faster Wii Virtual Console re-release. You see, the BLJ had been patched in a 1997 re-release of Mario 64, known as the Shindu version, which had added Rumble Pack support and was released only in Japan. The other regions had never had a Shindo release, and when they got Mario 64 on the Virtual Console, it was the original release, except in Japan where it was the Shindu version. This made it so that non-Japanese runners who chose to run on the Wii Virtual Console would have advantage over Japanese runners, who couldn't perform the BLJ on their Virtual Console release. In order to even the playing field, everyone agreed to keep the original N64 release as the most competitive and preferable version for speedrunning Super Mario 64. Also, random fun fact I want to throw in here, the BLJ is called the Ass Warp in Japanese, and I think that's hilarious. Now, to get back on topic, we've seen the more commonly known BLJ uses in 0, 1, and 16 star, but how are they used in the other two main categories? Well, 70 stars is the intended amount to reach the end, so BLJs are banned in that category. 120 star, however, collects every star in the game, and has no restrictions. That means that the BLJ is allowed, and consequently, it has a handful of uses in the run. In Hazy Maze Cave, an elevator BLJ is used for a fast 100 coin star route, although it's unknown when it was first implemented. Another elevator BLJ in Hazy Maze Cave began to be implemented around late 2016 in order to collect the Toxic Maze Star much faster, but the trick itself is very difficult, but it has been seen in multiple world records since. The lobby BLJ has also been used to access the first Bowser early in 120 stars since late 2015. These aren't the only places where BLJs can theoretically save time, however, as there are faster ways to use BLJs to collect stars in various levels, as seen in individual star speedruns. Here, runners will go for very inconsistent strats, such as pause buffered BLJs in order to get stars within seconds, although they would not dare go for it in any full game run. But enough of individual stars, let's return to 0 star, where you still need to collect 2 keys from 2 Bowser stages in order to reach the end. For the longest time, these locked doors were thought to be impossible to skip, and for the door leading upstairs, that will always remain the case. The basement door is a different story, since you can enter it from the castle moat, but only when the water is drained from the other side, which you need a key from Bowser to reach anyways. This meant that beating the game while skipping the basement key would be the holy grail of Mario 64, as it seemed like it would never happen. That is, until July 4th, 2015, when the method to enter the moat door early was discovered by Tyler Ken, and it involved the use of parallel universes. Using a task to BLJ on top of the castle, Tyler grabbed a wing cap, performed a pause-buffered slope BLJ in order to reach hyperspeed, conserved the hyperspeed by flying with the wing cap, and flew into the Vanish Cap stage before the water was drained. From here, Mario performs an elevator BLJ to exit the level out of bounds, storing the hyperspeed by swimming to this point, where leaving the water allows Mario to navigate parallel universes, which are invisible copies of the map repeated indefinitely along a grid far out of bounds, which are missing everything except floors and ceilings. By navigating the parallel universes, Mario can return to the original map in front of the moat door and can open it before he is put back into a swimming state that prevents him from opening the door. This was a huge breakthrough, but it still required 10 stars in order to unlock the wing cap in order to skip the key, and was therefore slower than beating the game with just 0 stars. It wouldn't be until another year when the first 1 key task was created, where the game was beaten with 0 stars and 1 key. Here, the Vanish Cap stage was reached with a slope BLJ and a negative jump in order to skip getting the wing cap. From here, the task beat the game in under 4.5 minutes, which is faster than the current possible time in the original Super Mario Bros. And while all these techniques are tasks only, it is still astonishing how far this silly little glitch has broken the game more than anyone could have possibly ever imagined. And that brings us to today, where the BLJ has been immortalized by speedrunners and by the memes shared online. Even today, there have been some new uses for the BLJ found, including a faster lobby BLJ found by Salt and Ginger just this past month. And while the setup isn't very consistent nor used in any speedruns just yet, it provides a cool glimpse into the future of BLJs and its use in speedruns. If you're looking forward to get into speedrunning Mario 64 with the upcoming 3D All-Stars collection, prepare to be disappointed since it was recently confirmed that it will be running based on the Shindu versions, so no BLJs would be possible, unfortunately. But hey, the original version of the game is still out there, so you can always cop a copy of that if you want to try the BLJ for yourself. But anyways, if you enjoyed the history of the BLJ, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more speedrunning content. Also be sure to check out some tutorials down in the description below if you want to get into Super Mario 64 speedrunning. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember to shoot for the moon.